Amatakwape, Nima Lakota. Ambetiwashte. Hello, my relatives. I'm Lakota, and today is a good day. Things that the reservation are all about, for me, is disappearing beauty. The land is always beautiful. You look at the rolling hills, and the ponderosa pine, the flat plains, the badlands, the blue sky, the cloudy sky, the snow, the spring. I love it. It's our grandmother the earth. But I live in a colonial situation where people are colonized through and through. And it's really an effort now to attempt to get some coalescence, to get some type of, I hate the word unity. I've never known anything to be united, you know? United States, United Kingdom, United Kingdom. What a phrase. United Nations, nothing's united. Least of all a colonized people. So what you have here on the Pine Ridge Sioux Indian Reservation is people living day to day. It's existence, it's pure survival. You know? They only can live for today. We've been conditioned to that style of living for over 130 years. And I can give you everything, but how do you destroy a people? How do you destroy a people so that they're always in a crisis? Always. If it rains, it gets flooded. Basements get flooded, if they have basements. Creeks wash out whatever dam they built so that they can gather water, poison water. Our water's poison, man. We drink poison water every day. The college, my daughter worked for the college scientific department. They would only allow 4 tests on the water, and you could not test for that poison off the top of my head. At any rate, you cannot test for uranium poisoning, for instance, and a host of everything, but the most common poisons that are in agricultural products. Those type of. At any rate, the point is, you know, the EDA has 12 or 13 tests they do on water. We were allowed 4. So the colonized situation here is exactly that. It is designed to be exactly the way it is. And a short history of what colonization is all about. First, they steal your children, put them in boarding schools and physically and mentally abuse them. And then they won't let them, they outlaw our religion, our spirituality, outlaw it. You go to prison for praying in our ancient ways. And that was up until the 50s, the 1950s. You not only keep the children and sexually and physically abuse them. I know my parents were there. And my grandparents, fortunately, didn't have to go to boarding school because they were born in the 1800s. Now, then you have forced relocation, which began in the 50s, sponsored under the Truman administration and passed by Democratic Congress. You have the Indian Reorganization Act, which makes these FAW governments, who allegedly have sovereignty and government-to-government relations. Listen, a school district has government-to-government relationships with the United States government, the state government, the county government, city governments. That's nothing new, but the Indians, boy, we're colonized and we get government-to-government relations. Whoopee. We're a piece of paper, we're a corporation. We can't do anything unless we go through the bureaucracy of the Bureau of Idiot Anonymous. Oh, excuse me, the Bureau of Indian Affairs. This is the type of colonization we have. You know, we have a diaspora of 85% of our people are out, lost in America. Lost. And those that stay home, we have that day-to-day survival mechanism forced upon us. We're not allowed to talk our language to this very day. They'll tell you at the Human Rights Commission when we challenge the United States at the United Nations every year, they say, we allow immersion classes. Yeah, an hour a day for 5 days to a people who don't care about education. You get an hour a day after you've totally lost interest in education. And it's an elective, it's not required. So most of the kids don't even take their own language. Why should they? No one functions in this world. We have no role models. We don't exist in the 20th century. Check out your history books. Check out your history books. Do they know when we were forced into U.S. citizens? The only country in the world that forced citizenship on us. 1924. The Indian Reorganization Act. You know, the apartheid of America. It's what South Africa had. It's what the West Bank is. It's what Gaza is. And then we have a crisis. Every winter we have a crisis. Every blizzard we have a crisis. Every rain. Every day we're fed nothing but agricultural foods, surplus foods, all called high in carbohydrates. Guess what that does? That feeds and creates sugar diabetes. Sugar diabetes is epidemic in all of Indian country. So I'm supposed to answer because we had a tough winter this winter. We had a tough one last winter. Tough one the winter before. Same. It never stops. It never stops. And you know what's most insulting? The white people send us their used clothes, their throwaway clothes, used pantyhose and mismatched tennis shoes. You would be appalled at the kind of clothes they send to this reservation and the others. You'd be appalled and insulted. Oh yeah. But there's the beauty of my culture, what's left of it, that I participate in. That's the only thing left, and we got that much left. After I'm gone, I'm 71 winters old. I grew up with those old people who never went to school. Had all their wisdoms with them, intact. They're gone. So are we. You hear about the Indians today and their crisis? Yeah, we're in the throes, the last throes of our existence. Genocide is complete. Oh, we're going to still be brown Americans, saluting the U.S. flag. Why go to one of our powwows, mostly sponsored by these tribal governments? They're an embarrassment. I don't even go anymore. And if I do go, I try to just visit some of the old people that might be there. You know, our average life expectancy is 43.9 years for a male, 52 years for a female. People in Haiti live longer than we do. On the Sioux Indian reservations, in a 5-state area, our lives aren't worth anything. And they keep stealing from us, stealing our winter, our water from the Missouri River. They steal everything. Steal our religion, steal our language, culture vultures. Some of our own people, you know. When you're colonized, all you can do is look out for yourself. So when you go to work for the tribe, get that, we're not a nation. You know, nations make treaties, tribes don't. But they call us a tribe. That's demeaning and dehumanizing. Just like the Redskins. On and on, you know, the Braves. the Cleveland Indians. It never stops, folks. Our crisis, it's day to day. Our children are being brought up as brown Americans. Welcome. You're welcome. I've never heard a thank you from a white man. Never heard that. Never heard a thank you. All the water, oil, natural resources, all the land you have. When you came here, you had nothing. You didn't know how to live here. We showed you. No one said thank you. Not Pilgrim Village. No one. And you're not saying thank you today. You're giving us your used clothes. Thank you. Thank you. So folks, you know, except for my spirituality and my land and my ancestors and my children, great-grandchildren, I've got great-grandchildren. I'm trying to establish a total immersion language school. Total immersion into Lakota. Total immersion into who we are, so we can build that self-dignity and self-pride instead of being smothered with indignation, smothered with shame. We live in a 1,500 square mile area, almost half the size of the state of Connecticut. Cheyenne River, Sioux Indian Reservation, it's more than half the size of Connecticut. So just these two reservations in alone. And there's 9 Sioux Indian reservations in the state of South Dakota. 1 in Nebraska, 2 in Minnesota, 2 in North Dakota, 1 in Montana, 1 in Saskatchewan, and a host in Alberta. Reserves, they're called there. We're a large nation. But you wouldn't know it, would you? Do you know our history? Folks, we still have it. We still have matriarchy. We still have respect for our grandmother the earth. We still have respect for the white man. It's a beautiful life, if you know who you are. Dokshalke. The Lakota way of life is almost gone, and it will take, if the Maoris can do it, we can, and that's who I admire and respect and love, the Maori people of Aotearoa, commonly called New Zealand. They're the ones who began total immersion education. Our way of life can only continue to exist if we start with our 3- and 4-year-olds. That's what my school, and then we build from beneath, keep feeding into 3-year-olds. And in 15 years, we'll have it. We'll have our way of life back. And then maybe that school. But you know, no one will help us. I have the Treaty Total Immersion School. I've been trying since 1990. The foundations. I won't take government money because they're corrupt. It's been proven time and again that social programs run by the United States of America government are failures, time and again. Look at New Orleans. So, I worked in the anti-poverty program back in the 60s and 70s. I know what I'm talking about. So we're doing it on our own, but no one wants us to learn our languages. And so our way of life, the values of our way of life, are grounded in matriarchy. Can't be a Lakota unless you're matriarchal. You can't be an American unless you're matriarchal. Unless you know this fact, that every language in the Western Hemisphere does not have the word war or warrior in it. That's a beauty. It's beautiful. If you don't have the if you don't have the word, you don't have the concept. I challenge the Archaeological Association of America to produce one weapon of war of a pre-Columbian grave that they have robbed. They haven't yet produced one weapon of war in a pre-Columbian grave that they've robbed. That's fact. Our way of life, the United States of America has almost, they did it to the Indian people in the eastern half of the United States, east of the Mississippi. They eradicated. If they're still alive, they're brown people, brown Americans, or they're black Americans with the patriarchal worldview. But I do invite you to my Sundance. It's the only Lakota Sundance that has it in the original place in our Holy Land, the Black Hills, what they're called, the Black Hills. They're more than that. It's our place of creation, Wind Cave National Park. And we do it in a humble way. You're welcome to come visit us, but you can't come in after we get started. You have to be there before we start. It ends. My Sundance ends on the new moon of June. Every June. It ends on the new moon. Got it? Dope Shake.
Excellent.